Do you think the educational summit will lead to substantial change, or will it be more conservative? The reason why I'm asking this question is that a great deal of students have expressed skepticism that this will actually change the problem and fix the problems at Columbia or in the district overall.
Sure. I think that the product will be the result of our best thinking. And based on what I observed the other day, I haven't read all the data yet, but based on what I observed the other day, my sense is that this process has the possibility of being extremely disruptive. It has the potential to shake things up substantially. And I would ask everyone to suspend their skepticism, although I understand it. I would ask everybody to suspend their skepticism and instead continue to stay engaged, because only their voices will really make the process work. If people are paying attention to how we got into this to begin with, if they took any time to take a look at Tony Wagner's work in the video that we've been promoting about creating innovators, then they know that this is serious business. We're trying to turn this thing on its head in the sense that we want to deliver education in a way, to deliver learning and teaching in a way that's more appropriate to today's learner and tomorrow's learner. Not being relegated to the four walls, not being constricted by many of the things that we find constrict us today. So the answer is that this thing can be as substantial as we choose to make it, but we've got to stay involved. That's the answer.
Can I ask another question?
Surely.
When do you think you'll arrive at a conclusion about the scope of the educational summit's data?
Well, we will have to have a sense of the data analysis prior to the actual sitting down and creation of the strategic direction, which is scheduled to happen mid-January.
Yeah.
So we have to have it done certainly by the turn of the year.
And I just have another question as well. I'm sorry for asking
That's okay.
so many questions, but
That's all right.
do
That's your job.
you plan to have another educational summit, or is this just the one and only?
Well, people have asked us that question. And it was kind of like planning a wedding, you know. I'm not really quite sure that we will do it again anytime soon. But we will not rule it out, because I think right now what I'd like to emphasize is that people can continue to be involved through the action planning process, through the strategic direction process, through the conversations around the data over the next 30 days. This is the way that people can continue to be involved. I'd like to emphasize that coming out of the gate. Whether or not we do another summit is something that we have to just kind of remain open to, although it was never really a part of at least my initial thinking.
Because personally, I know a lot of students believe that the summit could have been better organized. Like, for example, students were forced only to go to one section and they weren't able to go to others, although missed substantial information about that particular topic. And as a result, people felt it would make more sense to sort of break it up so that they could go to different classrooms and get a greater feel of what was going on.
Sure. So that was, and what I'd like you to report back to our students is, that was by design, because what we didn't want the conversations to be superficial.
Yeah.
We wanted the conversations to take on a depth, and we knew that the only way to really promote that was to have people kind of stay focused on that particular topic. But knowing that that would be a concern is why we opened up this technology window for another 30 days. So again, it's about rolling up our sleeves and continuing to stay involved.
Speaking of a student-specific educational summit, Nina and I are working on a student forum that will be held in the Black Box Theater to gain more input from the student body. And this is originally, we had this plan for December 2nd, but it's going to be postponed. I think it's going to be postponed, but the whole point is to get more input from the student body so that Nina and I can come to meetings with more information about what students actually want. And for example, the first meeting, we were planning to have it on access and equity, where students would come in and voice their opinion and we would have a discussion on what they want. And we need something like this where students can just say what they want without the fear of any retribution, essentially, where they can just say what they want.
I agree, Philip.